Hey everyone, it's Rick here from Rick Chat RC. A few weeks back you might remember I did a video on the Wizard crash repair so far, and I finally got my new JST cables in the mail. You might remember that my one got yanked out of the receiver and I broke a couple of wires. I tried to solder them and I still wasn't getting a signal, and my new JST cables have been received in the mail, and I'm about to show you what I've just been through. You won't believe it. Stay tuned. Okay, so my JST cables finally arrived in the mail. This is what I ordered. Okay, I couldn't get the exact same one that came off the Wizard. This is what came out of the Wizard that got yanked out after my last crash. So on this side here we have an 8-pin JST plug with 3 wires coming out of it. And at the end of that we have the receiver plug that is going to get pushed into my receiver. So initially what I did was I soldered the broken wires back together, and as I explained in my last video, I still wasn't getting a signal. So I thought, okay, something's wrong with either the board or with the wiring. Anyway, so the Wizard has been laying low all this time. So a couple of weeks back, I finally got the new wire, the new JST wire in the mail. I ended up ordering something like this. So I've got the same 8-pin plug that came out of the Wizard. This is the other one. As you can see, it's an exact duplicate. However, on the other end, instead of having 3 wires, it comes with all these other wires and J adapters that plug into the receiver, but I only need 3 of them. So according to the Wizard JST, I got a black, a red. Let's wait for this to focus a bit. Okay, I got a black, where are we? Here we go. A black, a red, and a white signal wire, which all goes into one plug like so. So I copied that same structure. I copied the same layout and I created my own. So basically, here is my red, my black, my red, my black. Instead of my white, it happens to be this lilac or purple color wire. Doesn't matter, as long as I'm following the same 3 wires in sequence. So at the end of that, I now have my own made up plug, which I can reposition back into the receiver. Now the interesting thing to note here is that because of all these other wires, the purple plug had its own, the purple wire rather, had its own plug. Right, that's it there. So I had to take that wire out Okay, I took this white wire here, was inside the plug here. So where you see the purple wire, my white wire wasn't here. So I undid these little clips here. I pulled the white wire out. I took off the old plug, took off the other plug here rather, from the purple plug, and I put it inside here. Now, I won't need, where are we? I won't need the rest of these wires, so I'm just going to cut them off here. Cut them off here. I won't need them. I can actually pull them out. They're not necessary. I don't need them for this quad. I don't need them for this wizard. Anyway, but I'll show you how it still fits and still serves the purpose that I need to replace my broken wire. So we lift the lid on the wizard. First of all, I'll show you how this is a perfect fit. So the purple wire in my case is now the white signal wire. I'm going to put that in there. It's a nice snug fit, works beautifully. It's in the ppm slot. I'll just take that out for now. Now the interesting thing here is that when I plugged this back in here and I connected it to my receiver and then I plugged the battery into the quad, I still wasn't getting a signal. I still had no receiver light on, so I couldn't even bind it. So I was really getting fed up. I thought, okay, it looks like I really do have to buy a new flight controller or a new board. So I ended up taking off the board entirely to analyze it even more closely. I had a look underneath and I thought, nah, there's no way I want to fiddle around with desoldering those wires and having to re-solder them again onto the new board. I don't know about you, but soldering is not my forte, and it never will be. And I mean, look how small those holes are. Look how much space we have to work with on this. Like, it is so easy to short circuit yourself. I have to get a good solder joint without short circuiting the other wires. I thought, nah, that's going to be an absolute last resort. So I had a closer inspection inside here, because this is where that was going to plug back in. So what I'd noticed, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but I'll see if I can use a magnifying glass. I don't know if you can see that, but the wires inside that white adapter were all straight except for the last one on the end. Right, so this last wire right here I found was bent 90 degrees this way. Right, it was sticking out slightly on the end here. So it was sticking out slightly on the end here. So I realized that's why I wasn't getting a signal. Didn't really matter about the old wire, new wire, but I thought, now that I've got the new JST wire, I won't fiddle around with soldering a broken wire together. I'll just use a brand new set of JST wires. So with this little screwdriver, I carefully bent back the wire until it was straight. And guess what? It worked. So if I plug this back in now, like so, give it a nice firm, that's it. That's in securely, excellent. Then I grab my receiver and I'll plug in with the signal wire on top, which is my purple wire in this case. I'll plug that in here. Beautiful, snug, tight, is doing the job as I expect. So this is ready to go, except for the fact that I haven't really put it back together again. But I'm going to connect the battery. I've got the propellers off, so everything's safe. Nothing's going to arm because the board's on an angle. I'm going to connect the battery and show you how my receiver light comes on. Where are we? Okay. Now, it's making a liar out of me. Let me just... My receiver light isn't on. That's interesting. I had it going before. What's changed? Okay, let me take this out. Let me plug it back in. I had this going before I started this video. I was so wrapped that I had fixed it. Now it's not coming back on again. What has changed from the last time? Is this pushed in properly? Okay, I'm going to disconnect this again. And now I'm going to plug it back in, and I will see the pins are on top, so that's correct. This is fiddly at best. Push that in place. It's all good. That's plugged in correctly. That's plugged in correctly. And I don't have a light on my receiver. It's making a liar out of me, guys. I am so sorry. I just have to make sure I followed the right sequence here. I'm not getting anything. Unbelievable. What has changed? Okay, I've realized what's happened. That pin is bent again. I don't know how I did that. I was so careful. So I'm going to bend it back once again. If this keeps up, I will have to get another board because I don't think this pin's going to last too much longer. If I have to keep bending it this way. Here we go. I think I just broke it. There you go. I just broke it. Can you believe that? I had it working. I'm putting this video together to show you what I did to get it working, and the pin has just broken off. That means now, in spite of my new JST cables, I have to now buy, which is what I was trying to avoid, a brand new board, which means I'm going to have to de-solder all of this, take note where everything goes, and I'm going to have to re-solder these wires back on to the new board. I cannot tell you how frustrated this is for me. So now I have to wait another 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever it's going to be, before I can get my hands on this replacement board. And then I have to put my pathetic soldering skills to the test, which means I could absolutely stuff up the replacement board. This is the part I can't stand when it comes to FPV, when it comes to building a quad. I don't know how everybody else does it, and I'll go so far as to say I don't believe most people do it well. When you consider the intricacy behind the development of this board, I would have to say without doubt that if this is state of the art, then the manual solder joints are going to have to be the weakest point of this whole quad. And not just me, I'm talking about everybody else who involves themselves with soldering on this scale. I mean, look how small those holes are. Look at the spacing between each wire. I don't know how I'm going to solder that properly. I may have to pay someone to do it, or I might just buy a whole new wizard, because I just can't be bothered. I cannot be stuffed trying to do this. I'm not happy. And this brings me to my final comment. This is exactly the reason why bind and fly quads are going to become the norm. Bind and fly quads, they are going to be all the rage. Nobody wants to muck around having to do this every time they build or rebuild. This is intricate stuff. Oh well. It's part of the learning curve. I can't say it's my favorite part of the learning curve. Like I said, I'd rather be out there on the field, doing what gives me the most pleasure, which is flying, not fixing, especially not electronic stuff like this. Okay, so I've sort of wasted my time, I've sort of wasted your time, but at least I'm taking you on a journey. You don't get to see much of this. You always hear about the good parts. This is intricate stuff which, as far as I'm concerned, my wizard is going to be in the pits for a few more weeks. All right, spring has hit, the weather has improved, and this thing's not even going to go anywhere for another few weeks. I'm not happy one bit. So tell me out there, tell me, am I in the minority here? Or am I in the majority? Let me know if you're experiencing similar issues. Let me know if soldering is your favorite part of the whole build. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please leave any comments below. I'd love to have a yarn, have a chat. If anyone can provide me with some advice, or if anyone can give me something to go on that perhaps I haven't thought of, please, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to have to say this is another video in the series of what I'm calling Frustration Fridays. I'm not happy, but life goes on, and yeah, I'm going to see what I can do about this flight board. I have to buy another one. I have to desolder everything. I cannot stand the whole thought of having to do that, but that's it. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time, and bye for now.